Plugged Inland represents KVCR's continuing interest in focusing on important issues in the inland area. Supported by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, we're looking into innovations and solutions in education as part of the American Graduate Let's Make It Happen. And you can help us make it happen. Call us anytime during the show at 866-367-5827. Or you can send questions or comments right from our website at pluggedinland.org. Or you can email us questions and comments to questions@pluggedinland.org. And you can tweet us at #KVCR. Welcome to Plugged Inland. I'm Roger Bowman. Tonight we take a look at a program that helps high school students gain entrance to college and, more importantly, supports them throughout their scholastic career, culminating in a bachelor's degree. Let's take a look at this rapidly expanding program in the Inland Empire. Here's a look at Bright Prospect.
Bright Prospect offers opportunities to low-income high school students with lots of potential. Through the program, a growing number of inland students gain admission to four-year colleges across the United States. Through the CREW system, students learn to work together and support each other to achieve academic success. Academic success is not the only goal of the CREW system. Strong and deep friendships and lots of laughter are also big benefits. Students support each other and reform crews at their colleges.
Bright Prospect is completely unique and different from other programs because you don't only see them as friends but as family because every time you visit their office they always provide you with a hug. They show you that trust and unity that a family has, and I'm really thankful for that, and I just feel joy of going into college and representing Bright Prospect and our community.
Hi, I'm Siglali Marin. I'm from Gary High School and I'm excited to be going to Occidental College. Bright Prospects to me has really just been like a second family. They take you in and they really nurture you and like make you feel like you can get through the college process, because without them I really wouldn't have even known where to start.
Bright Prospect staff members continue to support the high school graduates as they persist and graduate from four-year colleges and universities. Staff members are there to provide a comprehensive counseling and support system throughout their high school and college years.
Hello, my name is Yancy Deras. I graduated from Montclair High School in 2009, and I have attended Cal Poly Pomona. I'm a third-year chemical engineer student. And Bright Prospect, oh my gosh, Bright Prospect means a lot, not only to me, but to everyone that has been part of the Bright Prospect family. They are amazing people. They have always helped me, not just going to college. I was first generation in my family. The first one to go to college, first one to know how anything of this college process works. And I had no idea how to start. And they were there for me since the beginning. They came to my high school and they told me it's okay. They have guided me throughout the whole process, and now in college, even then, they're still there for me.
My name is Lauren Cardenas, and I am a recent graduate from Swarthmore College, class of 2012. And Bright Prospect means the absolute world to me. When I was in high school, I didn't think I was ever going to pursue higher education, but Bright Prospect gave me the ways and means to apply, and before I knew it, I was applying to schools on the East Coast. Before I knew it, I was at this wonderful place called Swarthmore, and if it hadn't been for them, I don't think I would have traveled as much as I did, learned as much as I did, meet all the fabulous people that I did. They really opened so many doors for me, and I'm looking forward to my next stage in life. So thank you to BP.
Bright Prospect is a welcoming, loving, trusting environment. We call ourselves family, we support our students unconditionally, and we will always be there for them with everything from academic and financial advice to hugs and food.
You don't know how much it means until you become part of the family and you put your time in, you put your 4 or 5 years in to wherever you're going to go to, and they're always going to be here for you, and everyone is so proud of you. I am proud of all of you sitting here today. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for Bright Prospect.
I'd like to welcome to our studio the Executive Director of Bright Prospect, Stephanie Campbell. And joining her is Kendra Pineda, the Program Coordinator and an alumna of the program. Welcome and thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much.
So I just want to clarify, because we've been covering, as part of our American Graduate Program, safety net programs that catch kids that are struggling in high school. Your program is a little bit different. You're taking kids that don't conceive of how to get to college, and you get them into college and through college. That's the distinction. Where did you start?
We started 10 years ago. We originally were set up to replicate a program that our founder had discovered on the west side of LA that was being very successful, getting kids from central Los Angeles and South Central not only into great colleges but all the way through to graduation. That really impressed our founder, who is a Caltech trained engineer, became a philanthropist, and really believes from the heart that any young person who has the ability, the talent, the drive should be able to get into the best college they possibly can. We started out 10 years ago with 12 students. We're now working with 1,200. 1,200,
that's a huge growth.
Yes.
And that's all in the Inland Empire, is that right?
Yes, we're based at 7 specific schools, 5 in the Pomona School District, and then in addition, Ontario and Montclair High School.
So what would you say to those high schools that are outside of your reach?
We'll try to get there. It's all based on funding.
But more specifically, it is part funding and it is part educating other organizations as well, is it not?
As a matter of fact, our vision for our future growth is to eventually, well, hopefully within 2 or 3 years, set up something we're calling a staff training institute, where we can help any other community-based organization anywhere in the country that hears about what we're doing and our success rate based on this cruise system that was referred to in the video. If they want to learn how we do what we do, because of our high success rate and the fact that our cost per student per year is only $1,000.
Okay, stop there a moment.
I'm like, yeah.
I just want to take a moment and highlight that.
Okay.
We've heard numbers that are astronomical.
Yes.
But when you're talking about taking a student and getting them through the high school program and on to college, it's a lot cheaper than, say, the penal system if they take another path.
Yes.
So it's worth it. But I've never heard anything like only $1,000 per student.
Yeah.
And you're also saying that you're staying with them throughout their career.
Yes.
How can you do that and still be so low cost?
It's because of the cruise system. We're leveraging the energy of the students themselves. The crews are groups of anywhere between 3 to 7 students in high school who are raising friendship to a higher level. We have a system where we train the crew leaders, and the crews take on responsibility to not only help organize some of our activities, but also to make a commitment to each other, to help each other to overcome obstacles, get through high school, get into college, and then when they're in college, they're assigned to a new crew based on the campus that they go to, so that no bright prospect ever goes to college feeling alone.
So they just cruise into college?
They do. Very nice.
So this program, would you say it is on the cutting edge in terms of the success rate? Because you've thrown out not only a number that talks about how low it is, but you have an incredible graduation rate.
Yes, we do. Our graduation rate is 95%. And
95% of high school or 95% of college?
Okay, virtually 100% of all the kids that participate in our program in high school go on to college, and 95% of those are either graduated already from college or they're on track to do so. There's very few that fall by the wayside.
Is there a 6-month college program I'm unaware of? Are you talking associates? Are you talking bachelors?
We're talking bachelor's degrees.
95%?
Yes.
Okay. Then obviously you're weeding out everybody that's only moderately motivated and choosing just those superior students.
Well, we're actually an open program. We do outreach to the kids at our schools at the end of 9th grade, and anyone who responds to our outreach can join in. There's no minimum GPA. We have a fabulous 1-week summer program for the kids between 9th and 10th grade that really give them their first
I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to jump over. Welcome, Kendra.
Hello.
Good to have you. You went through the program.
I sure did.
Stephanie just said that it's open to anybody, and I facetiously was saying that you're just cherry picking the best students, because I'm assuming that you can't open a program like this to everybody and get the kind of graduation rates you're talking about. Am I wrong?
Yes. Bright Prospect first did start like that, actually. They did work with a smaller pool of students, and I was part of that old program with the Scholar Support Program. But in 2006 is when the Academy of Young Scholars, the second program, really tried to get those other students that were just as motivated as the top students, but they didn't have the grades. They wanted that college guidance. And so it was because of that that now we're open and we help students wherever they're at.
And that's when you saw your graduation rate plummet?
No, it hasn't.
No.
No, I'm being a little facetious, but
yeah.
I'm trying to highlight the fact that you don't just get kids into college and then push them along and say, great, you know, you're in college, job well done. You are actually trying to get them through to the bachelor's degree program, and the average school probably sees a graduation rate of, I'm assuming, 55 to 60%. And you have a 95% graduation rate. You're doing something right.
We're really working on our college retention programming. The crew system that I mentioned is a very key part of it. The crews have various year-specific responsibilities. For example, the first-year kids, we really encourage them to conscientiously develop a relationship with a professor, get to know them, have them perhaps recommend them for internships and research opportunities during the summer so that they're using their summers productively and strategically. In the second year, we have the college students do things like organize an event on their campus so they get project planning experience and bring some value to the school. Third year, they're supposed to do something to bring high school kids onto their campus, and fourth year, they're supposed to finish up and finish their thesis and concentrate on completing their requirements.
Excellent supportive program. I'm loving what I'm hearing. We're going to jump over. We already have a call, and it is a call-in program, so they get our priority. Let's jump out to Bell Gardens. Carla, what's your question? Carla, are you with us?
I just need to know if you have something available in Bell Gardens.
Oh, Bell Gardens.
Bell Gardens. Let me say that there is an organization that brings together 47 different college access organizations throughout the Southern California area, specifically in the greater Los Angeles area. It's called SoCalCAN, Southern California College Access Network, and it brings together, as I mentioned, 47 organizations that are throughout the Los Angeles region. I'm not positive I know of one that works in Bell Gardens, but if you were to Google SoCalCAN or Southern California College Access Network, you could look at the list of members.
And they're going to have some program.
There might be one that serves Bell Gardens. I don't know particularly. I haven't looked at that particular
Carla.
question.
I hope there is one.
Yeah.
But will they be you? Will they have that incredible success rate? You are starting to expand this crew concept that you attribute your success rate to other community organizations. Would you say it's fair to say that your organization spearheaded it? You didn't invent it, but did you take it to another level, or are other organizations doing that also independently?
Well, through this collaborative SoCalCAN, we now have had for the last 2 years SoCalCAN crews, that is, crews at the college made up of anywhere between 4 to 6 or 7 students who come from different member organizations who happen to be going to the same college. So we'll have some opportunities for them to get to know each other and bond over the summer between their high school graduation and when they go off to college. Again, they will have a crew leader who receives training.
But that's just over the past 2 years.
Yes.
So this is new.
Yeah, it is. We've been doing it in Bright Prospect for a couple more years, but now we're beginning to say that this is a replicatable model, and we would like to begin to make it available to other organizations within a couple of years.
Kendra, how did you get into the program? What's the background?
So I met Bright Prospect my junior year of high school, and it was something that I was looking for without even knowing it. I grew up in an immigrant family, the youngest of 4. No one in my family had ever gone to college, and at a very young age, my father instilled in me to get even a small degree, something just so that I can have and no one could take away. And with that, I did well in school. I really enjoyed school. I loved learning. I was really involved. And then when Bright Prospect came along, it was just like a dream. It was definitely a blessing for me and my family. because they just taught me so much. They taught my family so much of what was available, and that college was affordable for me. And my senior year, I got so many acceptances from different colleges. And
you went to your first pick?
No, I got waitlisted for my first pick, which was in California. You know, I was hoping to stay home, to stay locally, but that wasn't for me. It wasn't supposed to happen, and so I ended up going to Smith College, which is an all-women's college in Massachusetts, and it's the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It was a little scary at first, I'm not going to lie. It was definitely a transition and a challenge for my family, but my family had immigrated, my mom and my father, from Mexico, and they had to do this for themselves and for their family, and I knew this was then my moment to leave home, leave my foundation, to really blossom and to see what I could do in school.
So what led you back?
Bright Prospect primarily definitely led me back, and my family as well. They're both my family. But I had the opportunity to intern with Bright Prospect right before my senior year at Smith. I got a stipend from Smith to work anywhere, and I went to Bright Prospect because they had given so much to me, and I really just felt at home. I felt connected to the staff, and I knew they needed help.
I'm going to pick that up again in a moment,
Okay.
but as we are a call-in show, we do have callers calling in for this show. I want to thank you. So let's go out to Los Angeles. Raul, or is it? Yeah, it's Raul, right?
Yeah, this is Raul.
Hey, Raul, what's your question?
Yeah, how does someone get into Bright Prospect? I'm from LA.
Okay, good question.
Okay. There are a number of other organizations that do serve LA. We are specifically located at 5 schools in Pomona, and then Ontario and Montclair High School. And we are based, the whole way that we work is at the high school campuses. So
you're too limited.
People send us lots of money and we'll expand anywhere you want to be.
Well, Raul, I hope you do find an organization, but
Yeah.
as she said before to the other guest, do look for SoCal CAN. And what's the full name of SoCal CAN?
Southern California College Access Network.
And there will be other organizations.
Absolutely.
And they're all starting to join the college crew level program. How many are doing high school crews?
You want to speak to that?
I'm sorry, repeat that one
High
more
school
time.
crews, how many other organizations are doing those?
Oh, are doing crews?
Not at the college level, because we
No,
talked
the high
about
school
others
crews.
are doing the college levels.
The cruise concept is just, it's very unique to Bright Prospect. It was originated in Bright Prospect, and so it's in our high schools at the moment with our program. But I know there's talks about expanding that elsewhere.
I would say at this point, a viewer who tuned in would expect that because of all the love and gratitude you get and the success rate, that you just throw a lot of money at these students, and you've told me the costs are low. So this isn't about scholarships and funding the kids. It's about supporting and educating the kids.
It's about helping them to access the resources that are out there.
So literally, you're like one of those organizations that helps people find and fill out applications for loans.
I think any college access organization, that's the minimum of what they do. They help them fill out college applications and the financial aid applications. But we really do a whole lot more. We are really trying to help our kids develop certain personal skills, attitudes that will help them not only through high school and college, but life. Things like building relationships with people, things like goal setting, advocating for yourself, looking for resources, not just letting life happen to you and roll over you. And we're just developing a consciousness among our students that it's very difficult for them to do this alone, for anyone to do it alone. So that's why we have them do it in groups.
So is this a cult?
No.
It's a family.
It's just a support organization that's having this level of success.
Yeah.
Do the high schools welcome you, or do they initially feel a little reluctant to have you come into their territory and teach through your own methodology? I mean, there are counselors and avid teachers at these high schools.
Well, we make a point of developing a very good relationship with the counselors and the avid teachers and the administrators and the career center techs at the school, and the teachers, of course, at the schools where we work. We're definitely seen as part of the team. The superintendent of the Pomona School District knows us very well and is very supportive of us. So we make a point of making sure that it's a good working relationship.
But to be clear, you don't actually have an office or staff permanently assigned to these schools.
No, we do have an office in downtown Pomona, but our staff is out at these high schools almost every day at different high schools. We're at every high school at least twice a week. And then we do a number of activities that bring the kids from all our different high schools together so that they're no longer just thinking that the only people they know are the ones that they went to elementary school, middle school, and high school with, but they're beginning to meet kids that go to the other schools, making friends with them, getting them used to meeting new folks, because when they go off to college, that's what they're going to be doing. And we need to get them a little bit comfortable with getting out of their comfort zone.
Do you have to sell students that you're kind of a legitimate organization? There's no gotcha bait and switch at the back end.
Yeah, sounds too good to be true.
It does.
No, one of our biggest recruiters are our students themselves. They come to a meeting, they see just the culture, how we treat our students, how students treat each other, and they want their friends to be a part of it. You know, they want everyone to be a part of it, and so they're our number one advocates, the students themselves, and they bring all their friends in, and younger siblings, older siblings.
Okay, so let me ask about this. It, I think, is a valid statement that on most high schools, you have the cool kids that are seen to reject high school, no matter what their participation level. They have to look as if, you know, they're not doing what the man wants them to do. To what degree do you find that to be a problem?
We saw that when we first went into some of these high schools. I think we've really changed that. We have been able to make a tangible difference in the culture at the high schools where we have a presence. We've really developed a critical mass of students who have a college-going culture, who are excited about going to college, who know what it takes early enough that they can decide in the 10th and 11th and 12th grade that they're going to actually do their homework and take their high school year seriously, and they know that certain things are within their reach.
I want to highlight that. Motivating these kids to actually do it. But first, call-in show. So let's go to your home city. Let's go to Pomona, and it's Lupe. Lupe, what's your question?
My question, it's more like a comment.
Sure.
I would like to make a comment. My son is from Pomona High School. His name's Adam Villalobos, and he is a recipient of Bright Prospect, and it's the best thing that has ever happened to him. Kendra and all of the other individuals that have helped, they're the best.
Lupe, thank you so much. I appreciate your letting us know.
Yeah. Oh,
and that must be
so
gratifying.
much.
You know,
Yes.
we have guests such as yourselves that are making a difference out there. And you hear this kind of feedback, you've benefited, and now it's kind of the pay it forward system. I have to jump to an email. Susan of Yucaipa has written us. You indicated that the crew takes the student through college. How does the group support system work when the various members of the high school go to different colleges?
Well, the crews, as we said, are reconstituted. There are high school crews, and then there are college crews. So once they...
So I'm going to break it down. You have a group of, you said 3 to 7, prospectively, students in a high school. Is that the only 3 to 7 high schoolers that you're working with at that school?
Oh, no. We have maybe 100 to 200 kids at any given high school.
But they're all in these small groups.
Yeah.
And then they each, within that one group, may go to very disparate colleges.
Yes.
So then tell us about what happens then.
So then, throughout their time with Bright Prospect at the high school level, yes, they are in crews, but they also interact with each other in different grade levels. And so they've already known each other and students from other high schools. So by the time senior year comes and they're ready to go into college, they know exactly who their college crews are going to be, and we start also having...
Before they get there.
Yes, because we have a whole senior year programming just for them to get acquainted with their new crew members and to get to know each other. And
Does that mean the crew members at college come from the same region?
They could, yeah. Most of them do. And then like Steph was mentioning earlier, sometimes when we do have SoCalCan students at these specific institutions out of state, we get everyone connected together because they really need to get to know each other and know that they're there to help and support one another.
So for example, we might have, if we're sending, let's say, 5 or 6 young ladies to Bryn Mawr College, and we might have them in a crew. We might have about 2 crews at UCLA if we have, 8 to 10 students going there. So it depends on where they're going.
What are some of the colleges that you've placed kids at?
Okay. Well, we have had kids at going to community colleges, just about all the Cal States, all the UCs, and among the private liberal arts colleges, besides some of the great women's colleges like Smith and Bryn Mawr, we have had kids going to the Ivy Leagues, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Brown, Cornell, Stanford, Connecticut College, Franklin and Marshall.
You're placing often first-generation students into these Ivy League colleges.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And they graduate. We've got graduates. About 25% of our graduates go on to an advanced degree. We have a young man who's now doing a PhD in genetics at Swarthmore, full ride, and he's from Ontario originally, Ontario High School. We have another young man from Chino who's now going, he's doing a doctorate in chemistry at University of Texas, Austin, also with a full ride. Our kids going into the sciences in grad school.
I have to jump over to an email. Obviously, you are getting the response of our audience, and I appreciate that. Shanna of Hemet. Kendra says the program said how the program came along for you. How did you find out about it?
I was actually nominated at the time through a counselor of mine. They obviously knew who I was, and I was doing well in high school, so they thought I would be a right fit for the program. Now how students get into the program, it's really word of mouth. We don't necessarily go and advertise the program. We do high school visits with our current college students. They love to come back during Christmas break and speak to their classmates, to the younger students at their high schools, and they rave about going to Harvard, going to all of these different colleges, and so really students get connected in that way to us, either through word of mouth or through seeing our students speak about their experiences in college to them.
I want to thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
I want to show our audience a little more about your program through a video, so let's take an additional look at really the goal of the program, the graduation of its members, and hear again from some of the students.
At the Bright Prospect graduation June 9th, celebration was in the air. Balloons, flowers, laughter, and most of all, pride. Crews celebrated.
In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. I'm on my way.
Families celebrated. Teachers, Bright Prospect staffers, and families honored the graduates.
Hi, my name is Patty Tim, and I work for Montclair High School. I work one-on-one with the Bright Prospects program. Not only is it a great program for the kids, but it's family for them. It gives them the support that they need, and I truly believe that this has helped.
I'd like to say congratulations to the graduating class of 2012 Bright Prospect students. When I was in high school, the program just began. I received a lot of help from Tim Sandoval myself for my statements and applications to college, and I ended up going to UC Santa Cruz and got my Bachelor's of Arts in Environmental Studies, and was elected to the Pomona City Council in 2008. And so I just want to say, you know, from the bottom of my heart, how wonderful Bright Prospect is, and as a council person, how proud we are of our students and our community members that you're going on and you're taking advantage of this program, and to not leave the support network that it offers, and come back to the city one day and contribute back, because that's what it's about.
Futures and opportunities made possible by...
You've just completed high school. And this is the one more step on a journey of your life. College will be the next step. And all of you, I expect to be back here in not too many years and telling us about your college graduation and what you've achieved. Each one of you has excelled in one or more fields. But most importantly, each one of you has heart. You're people who care for one another. You are people who are going to make a difference in this world. And that is what is important to me, and what I hope is important to you.
Pero lo más importante, dice Eric, es que cada uno de ustedes tiene corazón, que tienen mucho cariño los unos para los otros, y que ustedes van a hacer una gran diferencia en este mundo. Gracias.
Plugged Inland represents KVCR's continuing interest in focusing on important issues in the inland area. Supported by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, we're looking into innovations and solutions in education as part of the American Graduate Let's Make It Happen. And you can help us make it happen. Call us anytime during the show at 866-367-5827. Or you can send questions or comments right from our website at pluggedinland.org. Or you can email us questions and comments to questions@pluggedinland.org. And you can tweet us at #KVCR. Now we have two more guests joining us, both of them from Bright Prospect. Tim Sandoval, the program director at Bright Prospect, and Cesar Guerrero, a student in the program. Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you for having
Cesar,
us.
let me start with you. You're a student in Bright Prospect now.
Yes.
Which, unlike some of the other programs we've had, it doesn't mean that you're outside the high school system. You're actually at a regular high school. Correct. You're just also kind of co-enrolled in this program. When did you get connected? Did you start early?
Well, they come to the high school freshman year, and I learned about it, but I didn't really look too much into it because at the time I wanted to go home. I didn't care too much. But then coming into sophomore year, I looked at my life and I was wondering what was I doing, and I knew that I had to go to college. And so late sophomore year, I came into Bright Prospect and they welcomed me with open arms. And
you say they welcomed you with open arms, but is sophomore year normally the entry point?
No, most kids come in freshman year so that you can develop that trust, but Bright Prospect keeps the program open so that anybody can come in, just in case some people mature at different levels.
No. I have a high schooler myself, and he is maturing rapidly, but I know what you mean about kids maturing at a different rate. And that brings up something Stephanie talked about, which is motivating kids to do their homework. As much as they may think, gee, I'd like college, you know, there's an awful lot of homework that stands between you and graduation at high school. Right. How do you get the kids to go and stick with this program and maintain those grades?
Right. One of the programs that we do is a summer academy at the Claremont colleges, and one of the sessions that we run is called the Young Men's and Young Women's Forum. And in that session, we'll ask a question, you know, what's your favorite music? And inevitably kids they listen to different music, rock, hip hop. And then we ask the question, why do you want something better for your life? And every one of those kids talks about their families, many of them factory workers, gardeners, and they begin to see the connection they have with each other, but they also begin to see how hard their parents have worked to give them this opportunity to get an education. And oftentimes it's really reminding them about the opportunities that they have that their parents didn't have. And so we continuously remind them about this. So there's that part of it, but then there's also just this personal development part.
And I want to go back to that too. So what you're saying is telling a young student that to follow in the footsteps, say, of their family,
yes,
it isn't wrong, but they're throwing away an opportunity to do better that perhaps the rest of that family didn't have.
Absolutely.
So why would they not avail themselves of it?
You know, I think that there are a lot of kids who are not having these kinds of conversations. That, you know, a lot of what the school system focuses on is academic preparation. And what we recognize is that there needs to be a conversation with the students about their lives and about how do they take their life experiences as sources of motivation. That I want something not only better for myself, but I want something better for my family because of those very real sacrifices they've made.
I agree completely. Cesar, you mentioned that too. You said how you wanted something better. Why? What made you think of that in your situation?
Since an early age, it's just been my mom really taking care of me, and I've seen all the struggles she's had to go through for me, and she's given me so much, and I want to give her more than she gave me. I don't want to just give her the minimum. I want to go above and beyond that and be able to spend her golden years happily, like be able to see her every day, not just give her enough money to get by. No, give her enough so that she's happy. She doesn't have to worry about anything, and I can spend that quality time with her rather than working to give her that perfect life.
So, single parent, your mother, did you have male role models?
My dad played some part in my life, and he still continues to play a very important role in my life. but it was just mainly my mom playing both those roles, both parenting roles, and I'm going to say she did a wonderful job.
You saw peers and family doing things that you weren't interested in pursuing, some of them negative.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Correct.
And you just decided that that was not the path you wanted to take.
Yeah.
So when I talk to kids that make that same decision, their goal is to graduate high school. But you have something completely different in mind. You plan to graduate at a 4-year university with a bachelor's degree.
Yeah. Graduating high school, you can get a decent job, but that decent job will only barely let you maintain your own life and then that of your parent. And I want to go to college so that I can really like give my mom just everything and not have to work every day, so that she's fine, be able to work here and there, and then stop, go home, spend some quality time with her. And so I can take care of her and me. And
Tim, Cesar's shy, but you've alerted me to the fact that he's not just going to barely graduate high school and eke his way into a community college.
Right.
Elaborate for me.
Well, Cesar's one of our very top students. This is a kid who has well over a 4.0. We do SAT prep classes for our kids, and on his practice test, he had the highest score. I know his dream is to go to MIT. This kid has got a shot at MIT. He's got a shot, quite frankly, at Harvard, Yale, and Princeton.
You've placed kids in these schools, so you know.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, one of the special things about this job is that you get to see kids grow. And so I still remember when Cesar first came into the program, still trying to figure out his way. And to be able to see him go from where he was at to where he's going to be going into next year when he has to decide where he's going to college is a really special feeling that I know that I have and that all of our staff members have.
I can tell you love your work. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, Cesar, are you first generation?
My sister is going to a community college, but I guess I sort of.
Where were your parents born, if I may?
Both my parents were born here in the United States.
Okay, so it's not first generation, but a lot of the students are.
Yes.
But nonetheless, it's not a family where everybody knew how to go through the college system. So you went from not really knowing your path to now potentially being a student at MIT.
Yes.
That's a pretty amazing story. And, you know, it's founded on this crew system. And, you know, crew has that negative connotation,
Sure.
except you can make a good movie like Goodfellas from it, you know,
Sure.
since
Sure.
the fella died yesterday it was based on.
Right.
But when people hear crew, they think kind of the familial gang.
Right.
Tell us how that's differentiated.
Right. I have an older brother who has been locked up for over 30 years. And, you know, on my visits with him, inevitably you always talk about those life histories. I mean, his life was really up for those first 17 years. And, you know, so he shared with me that he was in a crew, but the crew really had a negative direction. But yet it was a group of friends that really supported each other, trusted each other, but the aim was of a negative path.
Gang, typically.
Right, absolutely. And when we came up with this idea, we thought, why can't we take kids who are on a negative path and get them to really think about their family histories, right, their community, their friends, and get them on a positive path so that they can see not only their growth, but the growth of the people around them who they care about.
I know a lot of the lure. I've talked to in my prior life some gang members, and they talk about one of the attractions to that life is really the bond with those other crew members, the people you can count on, sometimes even more than your siblings in your own
Right.
family. They have your back.
Right.
They're there for you. It's unfortunate that their income derivation comes from these illicit activities.
Right.
So in your case, you offer that same level of support, and we have your back,
Right.
but to help you actually achieve academic success.
Right, absolutely.
And this model works?
I think it does. Yeah, I think it really does. And that's not to say that every single kid we touch is going to be a successful student, right? I mean, that's really our aim, that's our goal. But we really try to build trust with those kids. And so very early on, we do a lot of team building activities. We have this program called our Crew Connect, where we bring kids from all 7 high schools. We have them connect across high schools. We do some fun activities. We want these kids to know that we have their back as staff, as a program, a stable environment. If we say we're going to have a meeting, we're going to be there. If we say we're going to bring them food, we're going to bring them food. If we say we're going to take them on a cultural event, we take them on the cultural event. We're not a canceling kind of program, okay? And so for the kids, they get an opportunity to go out of their comfort zone, having to meet new kids from other high schools. So when they land on that college campus, it's very much a part of their social experience. They don't land on that campus thinking, wow, I don't know anyone. And yet, how important is it to feel welcomed when you go into a new environment? And I think that's, yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you because we are plugged in, which means our callers and our emailers get our time. And so I'm going to go to Latoya of Rialto. This is an electronic message. What career is Cesar interested in? Cesar, what would you do if you went to the college you want to do?
If I go to MIT, I wanted to be an aerospace engineer.
An aerospace engineer?
Yeah.
That's very lofty goals, and it sounds like you have the credentials to do it. So you'll be flying things out of Area 51 that are Black Ops.
Yeah, hopefully.
So let's talk a little bit about how this program supports the kids in terms of duration. In other words, I'm accustomed to programs that intersect students either when they're about to drop out or have, or in the final, say, 6 months of their career, and they're going to help them start the application, or maybe even a year before as they start the application. But you intersect with them in their sophomore or even freshman year.
Yes. Yeah, so we start, like I mentioned earlier, we have this incredible summer academy program at the Claremont colleges. It's a 5-day program. And really the main aim there is to build trust with the kids. But of course, we insert this thing about demystifying the cost of college, because we know kids are concerned about paying for college, particularly their parents. We have a college application reading session. And then during sophomore and junior year, what we're really trying to do is to help those kids build those social and personal skill sets that we know are so crucial. I mean, how do you manage your relationships? How important is that, particularly as you get to become an adult, right? How do you value relationships? How do you set goals? So we do a lot of that while they're in high school. And then, of course, you know, we stay with them through the whole entire college application process. We have recruiters from all over the country, Harvard, Yale, Princeton. So these kids get, I wouldn't call them one-on-one meetings, but groups of about 10, 15 kids with these recruiters. And then, of course, as you know, we stay with them in college. I could talk more about some of the things that we do while they're in college, but I know you get to ask the questions.
Well, I will want you to talk about them. You were talking, though, and I just want to wrap my mind around this. We're not talking about a few select students on these high schools. You've grown to have 1,200 students in your program, but you are only within Pomona and, as you said, Montclair and a couple of other regions. 1,200 people in a very concentrated area means you have quite a bit of force. Your group is not an isolated little clique on a high school campus. It has a significant presence on that campus. Is this a model that could be replicated at other high schools and other districts?
I absolutely believe it can. Every kid who enters a high school comes in with a friend group. The question is how are those friend groups going to develop? How are they? What direction are they going to go into? And
You're saying friend group in the generic term, not necessarily associated with Bright Prospect.
Right, exactly. And so if you organize these kids into these crews, and every crew has, there's always that one or two friends that kind of sort of steer the direction of the group, and you were to take those kids and give them intentional programming, intentional training, so that they steer their friends in very positive directions. I really believe that we could have a greater impact on more kids. But of course, that would be something that the school systems would need to adopt and invest in. They invest in the academic side of it, but we know, particularly in our community, that personal and social development is so crucial to their success.
I want to highlight that for a moment because we've done many shows on this notion of better academic support, mentoring, smaller class size, more tutoring. But what you're talking about is you don't inject yourself into the academic process at all, and yet you achieve substantial high school and substantial college graduation rates, not by reforming the education system, because reforming the education system is what everybody's talking about trying to do. You work with the education system as it exists today, and you just develop the other half of the student's life, their soft skills, their relationship skills, their goal-setting skills, and you achieve results. So if we hear these teachers say that they're trying to do the best they can and are, you actually can validate it because the education system that you have seems to be succeeding.
Right. And you know, there's been some high schools who we've been able to share this with who've taken an interest in this concept of, you know, why couldn't we reach every kid once they enter that campus, make them feel welcome, support them, not again just in an academic sense, but also in a social and personal sense, and give them that direction. It hasn't happened yet. It's just happening at the level of Bright Prospect, and I know it shared earlier that this is being replicated through SoCal Can. But we certainly would love to share this with more people as we learn more about our successes and our weaknesses as well, and certainly share it with other organizations and certainly school districts.
So we have a few minutes. Tell me about what you do at the college level.
Okay, so one of the first things that we do before the kids go off is we have this retreat. And this is where kids who are going to different colleges get a chance to connect with each other. Once they land on those campuses, we stay in contact with them in various ways. Of course, we text message them, we call them, we stay in touch with them by email. For our kids in California, I get the chance to go visit them. And we put together these amazing care packages. Hershey's bars and red vines, and so we'll go to the campus and visit them.
It's like a Red Cross package for
there you go.
Soldiers
there
overseas.
You go. There you go. And what we want them to know is that we care about them, right? We care about their future. We want to stay in touch with them. We go visit them. Sometimes we'll bring our high school students to go visit the campuses, and so we'll bring both of them together at the same time. And the other thing is that we have conference calls with our crew leaders. We want to make sure that the messaging is getting to our kids that, how are you utilizing your summers? We want to make sure they're getting internship opportunities, research opportunities, and if they don't get any of those, that they get a job back home working at some local business, because we know that particularly in this economic environment, it's important to think strategically about how you use your summers.
Cesar, let me ask you, do you have friends that are outside the crew?
Yes, I do.
And do they look at your crew and that relationship and Bright Prospect as kind of the weird half to you, you know?
A lot of my friends look at it that aren't in Bright Prospect. They look at it kind of in a weird way. They don't understand how all these people can be so motivated about high school. I mean, about going to college, and I guess relying on each other. Most of them just want to finish high school and rely mostly on themselves and have fun, but that's about it. Not really rely on each other to push for more and go to college.
Do you find it a struggle to kind of maintain the relationship with the Bright Prospect crew and also with the non-Bright Prospect students that you know?
Not at all, because most of the Bright Prospect kids talk about Bright Prospect with everyone, so I find myself talking about it with people who aren't even in Bright Prospect and trying to encourage them to come, because it's a really great program and it can open up so many doors for you.
You know, I have to say, a lot of what we talk about when we're talking about educating our kids really is the motivation. You know, American kids, and by American I mean any culture of a child that finds themselves on American soil, is as smart as the kids of any other country. And yet we are significantly outpaced more and more by other countries, and it just stems from motivation. And it's something you're able to foster at low expense, ultimately on a per student basis.
Yes.
And within the education system, no disassembling the unified school districts and creating only charters and magnets.
Right.
You're working within the system and achieving a phenomenal success rate.
Right.
What is budgetary impacts at the colleges doing to your program?
Well, you know, the majority of our kids are low-income kids. And so, yes, they have been impacted by financial aid. Unfortunately, one of the
by the reduction in
by the reduction at the state level and even at the federal level around financial aid. But fortunately, Bright Prospect, as part of our fundraising efforts, are able to help kids with scholarships. Not every one of our kids gets a scholarship. It's based on need. So we do help supplement some of the costs that a student would have to pay towards their college education. But particularly low-income students, there's so much money out there. There's federal aid, there's state aid, and then there's institutional scholarships as well. So while we've seen some changes in our students' financial aid packages, college is still relatively affordable for many of the low-income students that we work with. And particularly for our kids who do exceptionally well academically, they've got a shot at Wellesley, Swarthmore, Amherst, Williams, schools that want to diversify their student bodies and are willing to pay the entire cost to go to those colleges.
I hear a lot about people saying, okay, why is it that we want to try to help the low-income students so much? What about the middle class?
Right.
And on the other hand, if you take a body of people that don't see a lot of opportunity for success and you don't help them out, we as a society suffer because they'll find alternates. Right. The crew they join might not be the Bright Prospect crew. It might be that gang crew,
right.
And that hurts us all. So it's definitely, it seems to me, worth the investment. You're connecting these people. Obviously, we talked about if they're wealthy, they don't necessarily need financial assistance. Correct. But you offer open enrollment. Anybody at any income level can join Bright Prospect, can they not?
Absolutely. And again, and Cesar touched upon it a little bit, is that we know kids mature at different ages. I mean, I wasn't the same kid that I was in the 9th grade that I was in the 11th grade. And so by giving kids that window of opportunity to join at a moment where they're trying to find themselves, they're trying to figure out their identity, I really feel proud to say that we give kids that opportunity. And we don't base our acceptance on kids' income, whether they're Latino or African American. It is an open program, and we want to help every kid irrespective of what family they come from or what ethnicity or race they are.
How do you manage cultural diversity within your crews?
That's a great question. How do we manage that, Cesar? You know, I'll tell you, there's this universal thing called caring and welcoming and just making people feel like they're part of a family, irrespective of ethnicity or race. And so when kids come into the program, we treat them all the same. Not that kids have all of the same issues, but we treat them all the same. One of our signature things is our hugs. We know a lot of kids don't get any love, and we want to make sure they know that they're cared for. And we try to continuously share that culture with our kids, and that's the kind of culture they share with each other. So it's not unusual for the kids to hug each other.
So Tim, let me ask, how often do you have parents that are highly skeptical of this whole program when they first hear about
it? They always think, what's the catch, right? What's the catch? We know at some point you're going to charge us something, right? And you know, we have some amazing, our angel donor, Eric, is an amazing person. And we have some funders who want to make it possible for kids from low-income communities to go to colleges. It's a free program. It doesn't cost our kids anything.
Is it affiliated with church organizations or somebody that wants to recruit you?
It isn't. No.
Not that those are bad organizations.
Right. And we don't work for any colleges, right? We don't work for Cal Poly or Swarthmore. We love those places.
You know what? We only have a minute left.
Yes.
We have another caller, Cedar Glen. Bill, you're on the air. What's your question, Bill?
Well, I want to know why we're not mentioning some of the local colleges and universities, which would indicate that there was no opportunity here at Whittier, University of Redlands, Pepperdine. I'm trying to think of some, not mentioning particularly USC, UCLA, and some of the other more prestigious,
good point, Bill.
Nationally known.
I'm going to cut you in, Tim.
Love those
colleges.
Have a few
seconds.
We got kids at Cal Poly, Mount Sac. We have kids at USC, UCLA, Occidental, the Claremont colleges. Again, part of the reason we emphasize some of the out-of-state schools is because we really want students to sometimes sort of stretch themselves if they have the opportunity, but we are not, we love all colleges.
All right, and with that, we are out of time. I'd like to thank our guests, Stephanie Campbell and Kendra Pineda, Tim Sandoval and Cesar Guerrero. Thank you all for being here. Please join us next Friday when we hear from parents throughout the area. They'll tell us what they value in the programs that we've looked at in this series and what they need in order to ensure their kids can graduate from school. I'm Roger Bowman. Thanks for watching Plugged Inland.